Yes, I definitely do agree. To be, at least experience happiness, you have to somehow learn to let go of things that, are in the past and just whatever you cannot control, don't dwell on it or think too much about it. Welcome to the conversation on TOSTV Network. And as always, I'm coming to you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. And of course, my name is Ade Soyi. On the conversation today, I'm having I would okay. So I just wait till we get to that part for you to actually know what we're talking about. But before then, allow me bring you COVID-19 updates from across Africa, and after that, we'll get into the crux of the matter today, and that's the big story. You're still here on the conversation on TOS Television Network, and as I always tell you, you can join the conversation across our social media platforms. It's TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. TOS TV Network on YouTube is a channel to subscribe to, and of course, you can stream our website for news, stories, and happenings from across the world. It's www.tostvnetwork.com. Now, moving straight into the crux of the conversation today, that's the big story, and so I'm looking at a human angle side, story today. We all know about the ordeal of African Nigerian students that had to leave, Ukraine due to the ongoing Ukraine-Russia invasion and conflict and all of that. And I have one of the returnees here with me in the studio to just, take me through all of that experience. She is Fatima Babaji. She was a 500 level medical student in Ukraine, and she's just got back. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so let's just get straight into it. So, if you will, could you just, take me through your experience?
Oh, which part? The beginning?
So let's start from the beginning. What was it like? What was the deciding factor? When did you know that it was time to go, that you had to leave? What was the deciding factor for you?
Actually, to be honest, a lot of us decided to stay until the war was over. We thought that was the best thing to do because a lot of us were actually scared of moving. I live in the east, so I'm close to the separatist region of Donbass, and we thought that it would be too dangerous to go to the west, which is 24 hours by train. And we all decided just to stay. But one morning, one of my close friends told us that a lot of students were leaving, and you don't want to be the only student left behind. So we just decided that morning at 5 a.m. to catch the next escape train to the west. It was very impromptu.
It was a spontaneous decision.
Yes, very spontaneous.
It wasn't pre-planned. You didn't think about leaving before that time.
No, we all decided to stay at first, but in the morning of the day that we left, we decided to go.
What was it like when you lot started to hear the rumor of an invasion? What was going through your mind? What was it like?
Unbelievable, really. Scary. Everything was very scary. It was just unbelievable. Everybody wants to be optimistic. Everybody wants to have positive thoughts. And then when it actually happens, it's like, wow, okay, so we were wrong. And there's like nothing we can really do at this point. Or you would think there's no escape route. So it's just unbelievable. Even now, I can't believe that I escaped and I'm here. And now I don't know what to do next.
Before we'll get back to what to do next and all of that. Were you still in Ukraine when the first invasion happened, when the first bomb hit?
Yes, I was.
Oh, were you on your way out, or you were still in the city at the time?
I was still in my city, actually. I was there for the first 4 days of the invasion.
Oh.
Yeah, first 4 days.
What was the air like? What was the atmosphere like at the time?
Well, I live in the east, and you know, the night before, I did see military trucks driving down the street, but I didn't think much of it. I thought maybe it's just routine. And then the next morning at 5 a.m., we see the news that there were attacks in Kyiv and Kharkiv. So at that moment, we're like, okay, let's stock up because we're staying until the war is over. But when you go out, you see everyone everywhere. ATM lines were so long. Grocery stores were so crowded. Things were running out. It was like panic mode for everyone. Although in my city at that time, there weren't any bombs or any shooting or anything like that. So it was just more like panic mode before the real bad stuff happens.
Okay, tell me about your journey, you know, leaving Ukraine. Where did you go? Poland, Hungary?
I went to Hungary. That was the ultimate destination. It was hard, but we had to do it. It was 24 hours by train, and then 6 hours another train, and then 20 hours by bus, and you have to stop and take breaks. So overall, 4 days.
So you were in transit for 4 days trying to get to Hungary.
Yes.
How did you feel about that one?
Very sad, actually. To be honest, it was very sad, but you had to do what you had to do. It was scary. You see so many people around you, so many people trying to also escape. And, you know, I didn't want to leave, but it's something that I had to do or something that we decided to do as the best option.
Okay. What was the reception like at Hungary? I mean, we did hear about the segregation and the discrimination of Africans, you know, at the borders, especially at Poland. So what was the reception like at Hungary where you were at?
It was actually really amazing. I just want to say something about the discrimination was totally on the Ukrainian side, not the Polish or the Hungarian side. So yes, leaving Ukraine took 20 hours because it seemed like the Ukrainian military or, I don't know, immigration were attending to the people leaving by cars, and that means that they're usually Ukrainians with registered cars. But as students who were either crossing by leg or using a bus, maybe it took a long time because they would let the Ukrainians first. But once we entered Hungary, it was amazing. My group was very lucky. They found us at the train station.
Also, you were in a group?
Yes, I left with a group of students.
Okay.
It was 12 of us, I think, 8 or 12 of us. And they found us at the train station. They gave us free accommodation, free food for a week at a hotel. So the Hungarian government was very welcoming. Any discrimination was totally on the Ukrainian side.
Oh, that's quite sad. Were you at any point hoping and praying that help would come? Or did you expect that help would come at any point?
No help. We had to help ourselves by leaving because we knew that even if the government wanted to send planes, it's impossible. It's a war zone. They would shoot it down, you know. So we knew if we were going to get help, if we were going to be evacuated, we had to cross the border. That's another reason why we decided to leave that morning.
How timely? I do know that the government is already evacuating. Were you one of them that the government evacuated?
No, actually, during my journey, I got sick, so I needed to spend some time to recover. So I took a commercial flight, but a lot of my friends from this group were evacuated by the government.
Okay, how timely would you say that intervention and evacuation was? Did you think it was timely or not?
I would say yes, but at the same time, no.
Okay.
More no than yes, because a lot of us are students and the Hungarian government can't help everyone. So I feel like the government should have been there at the train station, ready to take people out or give them accommodation, but it was very disorganized. But eventually they did come around. I think the third day in Hungary, I was in Hungary for a week, but on day 3 is when the evacuation started from Hungary. So I would say yes and no at the same time. Eventually they did, but many people didn't have a place to stay. Many people were just sleeping in the embassy. I feel like they could have been more organized about that.
You were 500 level student of medicine. So you had roughly 1 or 2 years to finish or to be done?
1 year and half a semester.
Oh, and how do you feel now? do you think you're going to maybe go back at any point, have to start from the beginning, all of that? Does that even come to mind at all?
It does come to mind, actually. The best option would be to go back to Ukraine and finish up and continue, but it's the most unrealistic option. The country is being destroyed. Teachers are displaced. How can we restart, even if it's online? I hope maybe a miracle happens and I can finish and I can go back. But to be honest, I think maybe I have to start over, or maybe a neighboring country will give us admissions. But right now, everything is a dead end.
Oh. So if the invasion ceases today, would you go back?
No, to get my things, maybe. I left with absolutely nothing except for my pajamas.
Oh.
So I would go back to get my things, but I don't think I would start again. I just don't think it would be the best option, but it's just so unrealistic. I don't think anyone would have the right headspace to run a school, to teach students, to be a student.
Okay.
No.
I get it. I get it. I don't know. Before we wrap up quickly, I do know that there are lots of persons, I mean, you are one of the brave ones. You're coming out and you're talking about it. But I do know there are people who've experienced it and are still traumatized by it and would not, come out to say anything about it. And I do know that family members who still have, students, wards trapped in Ukraine as I speak. Do you have anything you want to say, to this group of persons that I have mentioned, before we wrap up?
I guess I could say that don't lose hope and things will be all right. Hopefully the war will end soon, and not to blame yourself or anyone. Things like this are hard. You can't stop them. You never know, it can happen. I would just say that over time we'll all be okay. Time heals.
Okay.
Time heals. That's it.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to me about your experience today. Thank you.
Oh,
It's
no
my
problem.
pleasure, actually. Thank you. And thank you for staying with me in the conversation up until this time. Do not forget that I'll be back here same time, same channel tomorrow. But before then, follow TOSTV Network across all social media platforms. It's TOSTV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. It's TOSTV Network. And of course, check my website, www.tostvnetwork.com for news, stories, and happenings from across the world. Thank you again. My name is Ade Swalsi, and I'll see you tomorrow.